name's Michael Hardy, and I'm a certified peer counselor, and I'm going to get started here. So, okay. So there's all my letters. I have a, oh, it's supposed to be a Bachelor of Arts degree, but I am full of BS anyway. I'm a certified peer counselor. I'm a recovery coach. Let me back that up. Okay. I'm a recovery coach and I'm an advanced level RAP facilitator. And does anybody know what the ITE is? If you do, you can just unmute yourself by holding the space bar, and it'll temporarily unmute yourself. Are you guys familiar with that? The ITE stands for I'm the evidence. And that's the credential I'm most proud of. My wife once told me she'd rather go get another doctorate degree than pursue the education it took me to get my I'm the evidence credential. That means I'm somebody with lived experience. So I worked at Optum Pierce Behavioral Health Organization. I had that on my business cards, and people would ask, oh, what's that? People with real letters behind their name would sometimes get kind of peeved. So our presentation today is Mad About Rap. And I'm going to just start going through these slides because we're going to do a small group activity later and think outside the box with this. And we're going to start it with put you out in some breakout rooms. And you start out with the people, they probably should have 5 or 6 people in your breakout room. And you'll start off with an icebreaker to get to know each other a little bit real quickly. I am blank, and I'm Michael, I'm from Puyallup, and I'm here today because I'm mad about rap. And then brainstorm ways to use a crisis as an opportunity for voice and choice. And I'm gonna model that for you, one way that you might do that. Each group will need to have somebody that takes notes. And then when we come back to the main room, that person who took the notes can just paste them in the chat window, and then I'll post them on our website. And I have created a special website. So that's the only time you'll need to take notes, because I have the rest, everything else will go on a special website. So I'm going to give you a quick tour of that website. I created a web page especially for this presentation. It's at powersource.club website, and I'm going to just go there real quick and give you a quick tour of that. I think I am. Okay, do you guys see the presentation, the Mad About Rap page? You're not.
When you share your screen, you have to click on the little box that says advanced sharing options in order to be able to move around to different screens. So when you click the share screen button, yeah, there you go.
Yeah, okay, so have we got it now, the Mad About Rap page?
Yep.
Okay, good. So this page, there's PowerPoints, handouts, links, everything you need about the Mental Health Advance Directive and the Wellness Recovery Action Plan presentation. So one of the things that's on there is this PowerPoint presentation. So if you would like the PowerPoint presentation, I would suggest that you go to the link here, and I'm going to post that in the chat window. My chat window got lost. And you can just bookmark that page and then you'll be able to go back to it. This page will be up today, tomorrow, the next day for a long time. I think I just got our membership renewed on our hosting. So, it's got there, it's got the PowerPoint presentation is there. There's a Mad About Wrap form that I created. I had hoped to have an electronic form that you could fill in all the blanks and electronically sign it in the places where it needs that. And it's just the technology is not quite there. However, I do have a document that kind of brings the Wellness Recovery Action Plan, crisis plan into a mental health advice directive. So it's a way of combining the two. And there's a form for that, and this has a link to it. There's the blank form that you find in the RCW, the Revised Code of Washington, for and there's also so the blank form is there, and there's a link to the RCW itself. And it's a lengthy site that goes through all of that. Here's some RAP resources that are on this page too. You've got the RAP app for iOS and for Android, links for that. There's right now, Copeland Center has, or RAP and Recovery Books has a wellness guide to overcoming isolation during COVID-19, being connected, staying connected, and choosing connection. So that's a link for a free download of that. There's also several videos which include Mary and Ellen Copeland and others talking about RAP. And then when we do the activity, there's some small activity prompts because people always say, can you put those back up? And if you're in a breakout room, you'll be able to do it. But if one person in your group has the website up, then you can look at the activity prompts. And then you can read less. Disability Rights Washington wrote a 72-page booklet which gives a lot of explanations that somebody may wish to consider while writing a mental health advance directive. It looks like this. I recommend it highly, and it's got just a lot of things that are great for somebody who's, if you're helping somebody to create a mental health advance directive or creating your own, it's recommended reading. And there's a link to it here, so you can go to that. There's also some disclaimers. I'm only doing an overview of RAP. You can get RAP literature at the at their bookstore. You can look up the Mental Health Advance Directive on online, and I'm not a lawyer. Okay. So back to our presentation. So that you can see that that's there, and you can look at that. PowerSource.club is easy. You can put PowerSource.club in any search engine, and you'll get to our website. This right now is an orphan page. It's not linked to anything else on our website. You are the first ones to get it. And there's a lot of stuff that's on there on that page, as I just gave you that brief little tour. So our hopes for today, following this presentation, you'll be able to discuss similarities and differences between the Washington State Advance Directive form in the Revised Code of Washington and the Wellness Recovery Action Plan Crisis Plan, and describe the benefits of each type of plan, and assist an individual in creating a mental health advance directive about Wellness Recovery Action Plan Crisis Plan. Does this sound like what you came for? Okay. Would you guys like to do the small group activity now? If so, indicate by doing yes. Oh, look at that. You guys are already all over it. I appreciate that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create breakout rooms, and you'll be automatically assigned to a room. And we have 21 participants. So you'll be 4 to 5 participants per room. And does anybody have any questions about what you're supposed to do when you get in there?
Michael, this is Michelle.
Yeah.
Can you just make sure that Patty is in the same room as the person she's supporting?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, Patty, can you send me a message and tell me who you're supporting so I can make sure to do that? Okay, great. So I'm going to take care of that, and I'm going to make sure that you're both in that same room. And if that's not working, come back and tell me. We're going to do this for 10 minutes, and then we'll come back, and you guys will, after some discussion. So if you have any questions when you come back in the room, I'll show you the prompts again, and I'll have it posted in here. And any questions?
Hi, this is Arlene. I was wondering, are we just putting our names, where we're from, and why we like rap? Is that what we're doing?
Why you're here today.
Oh, why we're here today. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Why you're here in this presentation today. So, and you'll be just talking about this with each other. So I gotta find Patty and move Patty to.
Are we doing the brainstorming now or later?
Yeah, we're gonna take 10 minutes to do that.
Now, during this round?
Yeah.
Okay.
I had to make sure that Patty is in the same room
Sorry.
as the person she's supporting. Okay. Okay, cool. And away we go. Come back and tell me if you have any questions. We're going to do 10 minutes, okay? Is everybody doing okay? Did you guys get assigned to a chat room? Laveda? So people should be coming back, I think. There's Michelle.
Hi, I'm hoping everyone hit leave breakout room rather than leave workshop. So let's see.
Oh, yeah. Right. I call this the Brady Bunch part. As people start to pop up in the windows on the screen like the Brady Bunch. Okay, and I'm gonna, everybody's coming back almost. Breakout room 3. You guys all got a message to come back and that worked, right?
Yeah, but there was a little bit of confusion about whether we actually had to ourselves leave the room or whether you were going to gather us and bring us back.
Oh, well, I like to let you volunteer for that and click a button to leave the breakout room, but now I've closed them and they got a 30-second warning and it's gonna pop them back in here.
Oh, okay, okay.
Both. I'm a lot about voice and choice and letting people choose what they want to do. I know in an activity like that, it can be sometimes frustrating to oh, we're not done. So I like to give you lots of warning and then, you know, you come back when, you know, at your own pace. And now we're all back, I think. We got 21 people again. So how was that experience for you? Was that good? Okay. You can use the hand or a thumb, you know, to indicate that. Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna, what I would like to do here is did each room have a person who was taking notes?
Yes, Stacy put our notes in the comments in the chat box.
Yeah, if you did that, which that was one of the prompts, right? You need a recorder, a person to take notes, and then when we come back to the main group, we will share about the results of our brainstorms in the chat window. So if you didn't have a person that take notes, could everybody just put the brainstorms that you personally had into the chat window? And then I will compile them from the chat window after this activity, and I will put them on the website for the suggestions you had, because I want to hear what you think. Brainstorming is about collecting a lot of information from a lot of people, and I want to share that with all of you. So yeah. Yeah, okay.
In our group, people really weren't that familiar with the RAP plan, so I pretty much answered a lot of questions about the RAP plan.
Okay. So that was you that put that in there, Janice, thank you.
No, it wasn't me. I didn't type anything.
Stacy did. Well, thank you, Stacy. And anybody else, you can post what you personally came up with. Did we have any of that going on?
Michael, this is Greg. I have a question on the website where the small group activity prompts. That is not a hyperlink for some reason.
No, it's a read more.
Okay, so and read more. Okay.
On the website, there's a read more right next to it. You click that read more and it'll
Right.
drop down right below it.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yep. I didn't see that. I thought the small group activity prompts was a hyperlink, but it was read more.
No,
Okay.
if you go down here, I'm sharing it here, you click on that read more, and it pops that down. Does that help? Okay.
It does. My internet connection is unstable for some reason, but
Okay. Well, yeah. So I want to go back to our slides here, because we're going to cover some of these things and continue to put things in, that you came up with, ways that you can take a crisis as an opportunity for voice and choice. That's what we're interested in hearing about. And I have some ideas that I'd like to share with you, if that's all right. So, Mental Health Advance Directive or Wellness Recovery Action Plan. Which one have you seen before, and could you have both in one? I am going to be flying through the slides, and it's the slide presentation is available to you, and you can get that. So Mary Ellen Copeland, who created the Wellness Recovery Action Plan, suggests that when you create your RAP crisis plan, you may make it a legal document by having two people sign it as witnesses. In Washington State, it requires a little bit more than that. There's certain parts that need to be included. We're going to have, that's what we're going to talk about. And I'm an advanced level RAP facilitator, and I've also trained over 200 behavioral health agency staff members how to help a person create their own mental health advance directive. When people are asked if they have a mental health advance directive, the number one reason when they say no, they don't, and they cite the number one reason why they don't, is because no one ever helped them create one. And frequently when a person goes into services, they ask them, do you have a mental health advance directive? And if they say no, they should be asked, would you like some help creating one? So we like to see that being done at any agency right after that question gets asked. So why have a crisis plan? Any ideas?
So you can have voice and choice.
So that you what? So you can have voice and choice. Great. Yeah. So the Wellness Recovery Action Plan has a bunch of parts to it. It's got a wellness toolbox, which are things that we use to stay well and get back to feeling well. There's a daily plan, in which we identify things to do every day. There's a triggers and a triggers action plan. We now call those stressors. There's an early warning signs and an action plan. And when things are breaking down, and an action plan, avoiding a crisis. And you'll notice that there's a lot of action plans in this. What we're going to talk, that means things that you do. We're going to talk today about crisis planning. So in the RAP crisis plan, there's what I'm like when I'm feeling well. And this is a positive note that it starts off. You know, when someone says, do you have a crisis plan? Do you have a mental health advance directive? If you are, you go to an evaluation and treatment center, or you're involuntarily detained, or you're getting services somewhere and they say, do you have a mental health advance directive? If you say yes, they are supposed to make all attempts to get a copy of that. You need to help. What's that?
Oh. Sorry, it was me yelling at my dog for barking.
Oh.
You know, Lola.
So that's, this is a positive note that if I'm in a crisis and you're supposed to be assisting me, I want you to help me I want you to know what I'm like when I'm feeling well, so that you can help me get back to that. I don't want you to see the sick person. Let's start off with what me look like when I'm well. What I look like when I'm well. Then there's the signs that our supporters need to take over, and our supporters, medication, treatments, home and community respite center. And we're going to see this as we look at the document, at the form that I created, that a lot of these things are in the Mental Health Advanced Directive, but there's more detail included in it than there is in a RAP crisis plan. But there's, and then it ends on when my supporters no longer need to use this plan. That's again, back to feeling well. How can you tell that my crisis has come to an end and my supporters? Now, when you're in a crisis, what your crisis looks like may include hospitalization, but a crisis may not include hospitalization. I have been in the hospital because I was in a crisis, but after I got a RAP plan, the next time I was in a crisis, my RAP plan meant that I didn't require hospitalization. I was able to stay at home and get care in the community, which prevented me from needing to be hospitalized. So these are things that are in a RAP crisis plan. Now, I'm not going to read through all of these, but the legislature has been persuaded that some of those things are good ideas. There's a lot of legal terminology here, and it's about capacity, that they have the ability to control their decisions, and some people, the mental health challenges cause individuals to fluctuate between capacity and incapacity. When the individual's capacity is unclear, they may be unable to access needed treatment because they're unable to give informed consent. Early treatment, just like it may prevent an individual from becoming so ill that involuntary treatment is necessary. So we need a way for people to express that. And they recognize that a mental health advance directive can be a tool for a person to have that voice and choice, so they're not deprived of the power to express themselves. Further, they find that they need to have a full range of choices. People with mental health challenges, and I apologize for the language that they created when they put this in the RCW. They have varying perspectives about when they should want to revoke mental health directive. If you know that you don't make good decisions when you don't have capacity, you may say, I don't want to be able to choose to revoke my directive while I'm in the middle of a crisis. And we'll look at that a little bit further as we go into the document. And there need to be clear standards so that treatment providers can readily discern an individual's treatment choices. So they created the Mental Health Advance Directive. It's a lengthy piece in the Revised Code of Washington. You can click on the link when you're in the PowerPoint presentation, and if somebody would like, now, here's a summary of the Mental Health Advance Directive. And I just summarize this because I want to show you something that, as I mentioned, there's things that are part of this are very similar to a RAP crisis plan. And here's something that I want to point out here. There's parts of this that must be completed in order for this. You have to state that you intend to do this. You have to specify when it's effective. You have to specify how long it's effective and when you may revoke it. There's some other details in here we'll see as we go through the form. And your signature, you need to have the principal, that's the person creating the directive, needs to sign it, and 2 witnesses. And And then there's one at the end, do not sign this part unless you intend to revoke the directive in part or in whole. If a person just goes through and signs everywhere that says signature, they will get all the way to the end. If they sign that, it revokes the entire thing. So if you're ever helping somebody create a mental health advance directive, you need to make them aware that they don't want to sign that until they want the entire thing to be canceled or part of it. And they can specify which part they do want to cancel. And that's, again, part of the voice and choice. A couple of definitions. You can find these in the RCW, the Revised Code of Washington. A healthcare facility means a hospital is defined in blah, blah, blah. And or a clinic that is part of a community mental health service delivery system. So many of the people in the Medicaid funded behavioral health system, that is a community mental health service delivery system. So, and also a healthcare provider, they specify what that means. And these are important as you look at the definition of where it explains about the witnesses. So again, all this information is located at the Mad About Rap page, which I've given you a link to. Okay, and I want to go there right now to that page. Let's see. Okay, the Mad About Rap form. Can you guys see this, the Mad About Rap form? Is this something that's showing, or have I got it wrong? All right, let me try that again.
There we go.
Okay, and I'm going to pull that over here. Get rid of the black spots. There, is it visible? Can somebody give me a yes or no?
Yes, I can see it.
Yes.
Okay. So this is very similar to the document that you can download from DRW, or it's also contained in the RCW itself. The yellow sections here are the parts which are intended to help someone who's creating a mental health advance directive that they want to go along with this. So the first yellow blocks, these are things that I put in there just to, this first one just explains that this is what the yellow blocks mean. So the form starts with notifying a person of a bunch of important information about the creating a mental health advance directive, and a person has to sign all of that. So that's just a notice to the person creating it. Then they have to have a statement of intent to create a mental health advance directive. They have to write their name in here. And here's a section that I put in for trying to emphasize what's strong rather than what's wrong. and focus on here's some words which is describing when I am well. Now this form, you can download this form on that website. There's a link for it. And then you can fill in, you can edit any of this information and it becomes the advanced directive when it's signed. At the current time, the only way to do this is to fill it in and then print it out. If you would like to be kept informed of when we have an online version that you can fill it all in and create it online and then sign it online too, we're working on that. And shoot me an email if you'd like to be informed when that happens. So here's some words that describe me when I'm well. What are some words that describe you when you're well?
Cheerful.
Cheerful.
Centered.
Centered.
Happy.
You can also put them in the chat box. When you're looking at when you're working on a rap, this part about describing when I'm well, they give a list of examples, which are, one of them is talkative, and the another one on that list is reserved. That's because that's not this one person; it's both of those things, but it's examples of an individual, separate individuals identifying wellness tools or how they look when they're well. So you would identify things that describe you when you're well. So a person could see when you're unwell that this is what they should expect from you when you are well. Any questions about that? Now, as I mentioned before, there's this part, you must complete this section, part 2. It talks about the dates are not necessarily part of the RAP crisis plan, but they are required in the Mental Health Advanced Directive. It won't be effective, and none of your Mental Health Advanced Directive will be followed by professionals. It's similar to Section 2 of the RAP crisis plan. Signs that supporters need to take over. And that's like when the following circumstances or behaviors occur. So there's also, in this document, writing your Mental Health Advanced Directive, which is available on that webpage I created. It goes into great detail about why it might be a good idea and a not good idea by signing immediately when you sign it, or if you become incapacitated. If you have to become incapacitated before it becomes effective, then that means they can't treat it as a legal document until you've already become incapacitated. And there may be things that are helpful to you before you're declared that you're not incapacitated. So part 3 of the directive, this must be completed, and it's about, you have to choose that it's either indefinite or whether it automatically expires. And there's reasons why it's good to go back and look at it again to make sure it's still pertinent. On the other hand, if you're the kind of person who forgets things, a lot of times, if I remember that I did something a year ago, it was probably 2 or 3. So I might want it to remain in effect for an indefinite period of time. You can revoke it anytime you want.
I have a question. Do you want me to hold it?
Oh, no, go ahead.
Okay, if we can back up just a little bit to the part about whether when you want the Mental Health Advanced Directive to go into effect, is there any drawback to having it be immediately effective? What are the drawbacks of doing that?
Well, the choices that you have, there, that a person might not want for someone else to be making decisions for them immediately. So, and so they might choose not to. And that's one of the reasons why I recommend this document, because there's, yeah.
Which document is that again, Michael, that you're
Oh,
looking at?
that's the Writing Your Mental Health Advanced Directive. That's the one near the bottom of the page on that.
Okay,
It's the one from Disability Rights Washington, and it's called Writing Your Mental Health Advanced Directive, a Practical Guide. So it's now it's in a box near the bottom of the page on that web page, and you can click there, read more, and it'll give you the whole second page of the document where it says. Did that help? Did you find that helpful?
Yes.
It's
Thank you.
72 pages, and I'll be honest, I don't have the whole thing memorized. But when I'm helping somebody create a mental health advanced directive, I like to go through it with this. But I've also found that this tool that we're looking at now is also helpful to make it part of their RAP crisis plan. It also, when an individual says in their advanced directive that I have a RAP crisis plan, and I have things that I do to try and help myself stay well, and here's what they are, and here's what my preference is. There may be times when they don't have to follow your advanced directive. That's explained in the advanced directive. There are times when they may not have to, but one of the things is, anytime they don't follow your advanced directive, they are required to know what's in it and try to do what you've asked. If they don't do what you've asked, they have to document that they did not do what you've asked and why. And that may become important later in a legal sense. So we'll look at that some more as we go on here. Did you find that helpful? And again, if you want to unmute yourself, you can hold down the space bar and it will temporarily unmute yourself, and then you can talk and then let go and it'll mute yourself again. And I invite you to make comments like that and ask questions if you like to. So the duration, again, we talked about, you have to choose whether it's indefinite or whether it automatically expires. And you can, it says years, but you could have days or decades or months, whichever you choose. You can go in, this is a completely editable document, and you can go in and change it to say what you want it to. When I may revoke it. So in the event that I don't have capacity and I'm not thinking well, I've created a document that my supporters know what my preferences are. And maybe I create that when I am well, and maybe I know that when I'm not well, I might have some ideas that aren't good for me, in my own opinion. I've certainly had plenty of those ideas in my life. So this is how you can specify. And I know someone who was in the hospital, and she had said that she didn't want to revoke her advance directive if she did not have capacity, and there she was in the hospital, and they recommended a medication that she had specifically said in her advance directive she didn't not want to ever take that medication. And she changed, while she was in there, she changed her mind because other things weren't working, and she decided she'd be willing to try it. And she had a great deal of difficulty in changing her mind because she had said that I don't want to be able to revoke or change this advance directive when I don't have capacity. So these are choices that we have to consider as we go through this. And this is part that's required by the Mental Health Advance Directive. So part 5, preferences about treatment and instructions, treatment facilities and physicians. You can say who you would like people to be involved in your treatment decisions. You can say who you do not want involved. My mother loved me dearly and I loved her dearly, but when I'm in a crisis, she's passed on now, sadly, but when I'm in a crisis, I need mom to not know about it until I'm over, until I'm beyond it. And I've also had doctors that I've fired, and I don't want to be treated by those doctors. I have other preferences. Again, if they want to go against my preferences, they have to document and explain why. So if you don't want to be treated by somebody, it can be useful for them to know why you do not want to. You're not required to say why, but it might be helpful to them to understand. It's still your choice though. Other providers. Now, this is the part where you would like to let your other providers know. So this might be a case manager, it might be your doctor, it might be somebody who's, a lot of times people have medications that they're prescribed by a behavioral health prescriber, and later on they switch that prescription to their primary care physician. Maybe you want that person notified when you're receiving treatment so that they can be contacted. And in the 8th section of the RAP crisis plan, you may include supporters who are not on your treatment plan. In the Mental Health Advance Directive, there's spaces provided that in Part 8, further on in this document. This section C under this part is about some preferences for medication. And you have choices to make about this. And you can object to particular medications and why. You know, I have allergies to, or I don't want to try them. I have the following preferences. And this is similar to the 4th section of RAP crisis plan, medication. Hospitalization and alternatives. And this and alternatives part is important because it may be that you've got some things that are helpful to you that mean that you don't have to go to a hospital or an evaluation and treatment center or be involuntarily detained. This is one of the reasons why we're pushing for peer respite centers here in Washington State. And we're becoming closer and closer all the time. Peer respite center is a place that's operated by peers and peers on staff where a person can go when they're in a crisis so that they do not need to be hospitalized. And so that's crisis alternatives. And you can specify the things that are helpful. This is similar to section 6 of the RAP crisis plan, home community respite care. Here's a section about authority to consent to inpatient treatment. If you've designated an agent, you can authorize your agent to consent to voluntary admission. You do not have to name an agent. This is where you can in the Mental Health Advance Directive. If you do name an agent, it's important to discuss that with them and ask them if they're willing to act as your agent. If you said that they should consult your agent and your agent doesn't want anything to do with it, then you can name an alternate agent. But it's good to know that. You can specify which hospital you prefer and which you do not prefer. I know somebody who who used to say, I never want to go to Harborview. I would rather go to Swedish because Swedish has the best pudding. I think it was more than the pudding that made her feel that way. So, and this is in the RAP crisis plan treatment facilities. So preference instructions about pre-emergency. These are things that you may prefer, and you could add to this list. There may be reasons why they say that they can't do it, but they'll have to document the reason why they can't. They may say that that's outside of our standard of care. For instance, a lot of mental health agencies receive some federal funding, so their standard of care does not include prescriptions for marijuana. And they may say that the prescription that you have for marijuana that helps you calm down is not something that they can do for you. It may be something that they do not allow in their facility because of the federal funding that's involved. But if they don't do what you wish, they have to document it. And so there's here in the other, you can specify what other things that might be helpful for you. Seclusion, restraint, and emergency medication. Emergency medication, sometimes I think of that as putting handcuffs on your brain. But in involuntary detainment, they may make a medical decision that you need to be restrained or secluded for your safety and the safety of others. That's RAP is a voluntary plan that's created by an individual who's always seen as the expert on himself. This section allows for a person to make choices about their care ahead of time for a possible situation where none of the choices available are preferred. And we would rather find things that work better. And we have opportunities to say up here what works better.
Can you clarify what's meant by authority and force?
Say that again.
Yeah. Can you clarify what was meant by authority and force in the preferences?
Oh, a show of authority or force?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. If they bring the biggest guy in the facility out and have him stand over you, to where it's apparent that they are going to force you, or they could force you, that may be something that you prefer or don't prefer. If you feel like you respond well to somebody in a white lab coat with a clipboard, giving you a stern warning, you can say that I would like that. Is that helpful?
Yes.
Okay. And you know, these are things, if you think about it, have you ever heard of someone receiving any of these things? When they're, you know, of medical providers, of behavioral health providers trying any of these things and saying it's for the patient's own benefit or their protection. Western State Hospital did a study, and they looked at the use of seclusion and restraint for the purpose of protecting staff and patients. And they found that when they used seclusion and restraint, injuries to staff and patients went up, and when they stopped using seclusion and restraint, injuries went down, which is pretty suggestive that the things that they were doing to protect staff and patients were not helping. So these are ways where you can comment on that. Now I want to move on, so we're almost done here. Again, this is about preferences. RAP doesn't say anything about electroconvulsive therapy, but you may have some opinions about that. I know somebody for whom it's the only thing that works. Then this is where you can name other supporters, and in case of emergency, please contact these people. And the following may help you to avoid hospitalization. You also can ask when this person may be contacted. You can also sign here and say you refuse any treatment, but you might still be treated if you're hospitalized under the Involuntary Treatment Act or if there's an emergency. So this is durable power of attorney. This is how you name somebody to be your agent. This not part of the RAP crisis plan, but this allows you to do this here. You may name different people to be responsible for different decisions. For example, financial or treatment decisions and other matters of your choosing. Notification of others, and this is for the agent to be able to notify somebody. The preferences and instruction in this part are not the responsibility of the treatment team. Your agent should notify these people. This is a reason why it's good to have an agent, or at least somebody who takes care of notifying other people. I need my boss to know that I won't be at work. He doesn't need to know anything else, but I can't call him and tell him that. Again, this part here is section similar to the section 8. The signature gives some details about who can be a witness. If you're an employee of a behavioral health agency, you can't witness this. And that's because of some of the definitions. If you're in an evaluation and treatment center, you can't have it signed and witnessed by somebody else who's in an evaluation and treatment center when they don't have capacity. So those are some things about who can witness this and who cannot. I think they recently made a change to where you can have a notary sign this and you can get by with one witness, but I'm not certain about that. If you're going to give it to somebody, this is an opportunity to say who had it besides the person you're handing it to. And then this is the revocation part. If you sign this part, if you go through everything and you sign, you're signing there and signing there and signing there and you sign here, everything you said before may be revoked. Okay?
I have a question.
Yeah.
So you keep this whole document, and if you do want to revoke it, then you sign it on that line. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
You can use that to.
You don't sign it beforehand to say, well, I might want to revoke it in the future. Is that right?
No.
You don't sign it for that reason.
Yeah.
You sign it only when you want it to be revoked.
But if you give it to a treatment provider and you tell somebody else who's providing you care that that's who has it, they are required to try and get it from them.
Okay. But you only sign the revocation part if you want to have it revoked at that particular time, right?
Yes, and that's how you specify that I want that part, some or all of it revoked.
Okay.
Is that helpful?
It's helpful to me. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I want to know.
Okay.
Okay, so all of the stuff that I've talked about is all on that page. So if you bookmark that page, and you can email me, michael@powersource.club, and I can give you the link for it too. I think we've had something put in the chat box. Yeah, questions. Do we have any questions? Questions? Anybody? Go ahead.
Okay, I have a question. I'm still confused about, we do not have them sign when we fill it all out completely. They only sign it if we're revoking it?
Oh no, there's places in the signature section where you do sign it and your two witnesses sign it. That's the part that's,
Okay,
that puts it into action in section 9 or section 8, and then section 10 is where you call it all back or part of it back.
okay, and that's where they would sign these revoking, is that correct?
Yeah. So
Okay,
yeah.
thank you, now it's clear.
I have a question. Does anybody know where I can find a hat like this? If you do, let me know. I know somebody who wants one. Yeah, anyway. So I want to thank you all for being here. I think we have something over in the chat window maybe about how to let me know what kind of job I've done. Is that correct? I've lost my chat window. There it is.
Yeah, it's there.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, thank you, Leveda. And any other questions from all of you? I thank you. You're all very patient, and I appreciate you and your questions and comments. And I hope you found this helpful. If you have any further questions, feel free to contact me. Yeah.
Michael, when I was
Yes.
trying to click on that red book link to,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, I get an error message. So can you go to your website and click on it?
Yeah. Yeah. If any of you are interested in getting the red rap book, here we're looking at the web page, and you can click on that, and it will take you to that web page. Did you not get there, Michelle?
No, I was getting an error message. It could be just my system.
It should look like this when you get there.
Yeah, I get like this shortcut error message.
Huh.
Yeah, me too. It says you need permission. The form can only be viewed by the people in the owner's organization.
Okay. Well, bookmark that page, and I'm going to have that fixed within an hour. How's
Thank
that?
you.
And you know, if you already have a rap book, I'll find somebody else that needs one. Yeah, I got one. Cindy Willie gave me this one in 2009. Yeah, I will go fix that and figure out why and fix it.
Well, thanks, Michael. Great job.
Yeah.
Yes, Michael, thank you so much.
I'm delighted that you guys liked it, and I hope you found it helpful. If you have any other questions, feel free to contact me, and I will have that link fixed within an hour.
Can you put the
By the time
link for the
I tested link,
website?
I don't get that because I'm the owner of the forum. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Can you put the link for the website in the chat, please?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. There you go.
Thank you.
And I appreciate you guys being here. And I'll be hanging around a minute if anybody wants to talk more. Thank you very much. Patty, thank you for closed captioning for us. Appreciate your services there. You are all very kind. And I will fix the link for the book within an hour. Every time I tested the link, I have permission because I'm the owner of the form, but I will test it out and have someone else test it. Oh, PowerSource.club is, the power stands for promoting opportunities for wellness, empowerment, and resilience. The source is peer support. The .club is because all the other dots were taken. So PowerSource.club, that's an organization that I invented because I got laid off from my job that wasn't required in a contract. So no one was picking it up in the new contract. When my employer lost a contract, they weren't required to do all the cool stuff they were letting me do. And so I started PowerSource.club, and I invite you to go there and check it out and subscribe if you like. It's very simple to subscribe. It's very simple to unsubscribe if you decide you don't like it. I hope that's helpful. Yeah. You guys are good sports. Here, you can all unmute if you like. I found that Zoom is a pretty good platform and people can all talk at the same time. Let's see.
Back to school means back into a rhythm. Kinda. Back to class, however it looks. And back to
You like that, huh?
I got to go, but I want to say thank you.
Thank you for coming.
Hi, Michael. Did you have a question?
Uh,
I had a note. It said that the host has requested you to unmute.
oh, no, I just wanted everybody to let everybody know you have the opportunity to unmute and talk amongst yourselves.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Greg.
Take care.
Yeah, you too.
Thank you.
Hi, Hey, hi, Michael. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing good. I'm leaving the room. It's good to see you, though.
I lost you for a minute. I don't know what happened.
Well, I'm trying to leave the room and head to the main room.
Oh, go ahead. I'll see you in another room too. I had to go meet with a client real quick.
Yeah, well, it's good to see you. We'll have to talk sometime too.
There I am. Hold on. Here I are. There I am.
Hey, you're invited to the thing on the 12th. Have you heard about it?
What is it?
It's Power Up Recovery.
Oh, I think I did. I think I signed up for it. I think I got an email in there.
Cool.
Do you have to register or you just click on the Zoom link, right?
No, you have to register.
Okay. Yeah, I think was that yesterday you sent those emails out?
Yeah.
All right. I did see it.
Cool.
Congratulations.
You came last year, didn't you? In person?
Huh?
Didn't you come last year in person?
I did.
Yeah.
I will be there.
You can help us out with some of the planning too.
Absolutely.
If there's something you want to come talk about for a few minutes, we have some opportunities like that too.
Okay. Is that where you're going now?
No, I got to go fix the link for the free books.
All right. Well, I'll get a hold of you and feel free to get a hold of me and I'd love to help you work with you.
Yeah. So we're meeting tonight.
What time?
5:30 to 7:30. Come for whatever you can. And
you'll be on the conference, the peer conference Zoom, right?
No.
On the Power Up website?
Yeah. You look in the email that I sent to you. And there's a link in there for the planning meetings.
Okay. All right. I'll set a timer and I'll be on there at 5:30 then.
Great.
Sounds good. Thanks for the invite. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye.